Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. And today we're going to talk about if you think that you're just going to keep going to your faucet and turning on the tap and having endless water for you to use, or even be able to use water recreationally, um, well, the New World Order has a different idea. So this is the People's Voice. This is an April 12th, 2023 article. And water is not a human right. The World Economic Forum orders governments to begin rationing water into homes. So this is real, people. You will own nothing, right? And you will have a dry. You will be there with drips. Okay. I mean, look at this man. Your buddy, Klaus Schwab. What's his name? Is that his name? Yep, Klaus, Klaus, Schwab. I mean, I've said it before in videos. He looks like every villain in every movie ever, and he is. And this article says, as you are no doubt aware, the global elite are making moves to have people own nothing and be happy. The world will be controlled by an authoritarian one world government, and humanity, according to Klaus, and the World Economic Forum, will be enslaved in a totalitarian system featuring mass surveillance, mandatory vaccines, and desperate servitude. And that truly is what they want from you. And and what's the most basic essential right there with air for a human to exist? Oh, that's right, water. And they're going to be controlling it. And this looks like a tweet of theirs. Got the blue mark. Water usage must be rationed to save the planet. You know, I do not contact the World Economic Forum. I think maybe I did once. That they are not one person that I can say, one organization that I can say has refused the solutions the world needs, but um, some of their young global leaders have. And trust me, they, like the United Nations, who they just partnered up with for a water conference, and everybody else, they would have no interest in actual real solutions. Okay, just gaining people's cooperation to turn off unused water and stop wasting it, it would be a massive, massive solution. But that's not what they're looking for. And so this article says, it wouldn't be so bad if the World Economic Forum wasn't so influential. Klaus has openly bragged about his organization's ability to infiltrate governments across the globe. At Harvard Kennedy School Institute of Politics, he discussed how the World Economic Forum's modus operandi is to penetrate governments by installing its young global leaders. And right, they have. Trudeau is one, Macron is one, Ardern, who resigned from New Zealand, she's one. They're out there, and they're in control, just like Mr. Bio's operatives that he put in high-level government operations before he left office control America. Right, and right here it says Trudeau and Macron are working hand in glove with Davos to roll out the globalist agenda of the elite. But now, in a disturbing development, the globalist elite are claiming water is not a human right, and the world's water supplies must be privatized and controlled by the elites. And the World Economic Forum is teaming up with the UN, which they just did. They had a water conference. It was on March 22nd, 2023. And the thing about it is just look at these search results here. There's not news organizations reporting about this. There's just organizations, looks like probably attendees. There's no The Guardian, there's no New York Times, there's no NBC, ABC News. There's no press here that reported on this. And so this says that the World Economic Forum and the UN have ordered world governments to prepare to ration people's water supply as part of their Great Reset. So they talk about the conference that just happened. It said the conference aims to raise awareness of the global water crisis and decide on action to achieve internationally agreed water-related goals, according, the World Economic put out in a post. And they're going to report on game-changing ways to value and manage water as a common good. Yeah, they're interested in the common good. Not really. So they say here, this is just kind of like, the Paris Agreement wanting to get you out of cars and planes. And the United Nations plans to protect water that's used for bathing, developments, water that's home to sea life, water that's used for transportation. It says coming controls will likely focus on residential limits to water usage and costly increases to access that water, on bans on agricultural usage and costly increases on farmers, and strict controls on the types and numbers of ships that can sail the seas and rivers and channels, and costly increases for this form of transportation. They want to control everything, not just the water you drink, right? But if you have water to drink, if you have water to bathe, if you're allowed to, they'll be controlling the number of people on a beach. Right here, they say so much for jet skiing or fishing on the weekends. It'll be too expensive and regulated, and it very well could be. Once they roll it out, they don't stop. They just take control of everything, and then the fees go up and up and up and up. And the Economic Forum says that it's clear that we need to rethink our approach to how we can best allocate and value water, which, water is scarce, especially in a lot of parts of the world. And I am all for responsible water use and getting people to use water responsibly and getting people who don't have access to water. But, you have to do it responsibly, and you can't be doing it by the tyranny that they are looking to impose on the world. And they say, the water conference is leading to where, the globalists just aren't going to quit until they grab all the power from all the people across the nations, even if they have to do it one drop at a time. And that they have long set their sight on seizing control of the water supply, because water is an absolute basic essential. You can't live without it. So here's the World Economic Forum website. It says water security is a national security issue. What's needed now? And again, they're showing you just drops of water. And they say here, there's going to be food shortages. Okay, down here they talk about migration. They say that the World Bank reports project that climate change related disasters such as floods and droughts, because floods and droughts never happened before climate change. Okay, climate on this planet is always changing, and for history there have always been a flood and droughts. Okay, but we have to tie this all up in a big bow here for them. And it says that it could cause up to 216 million people to move within or out of their countries by 2050. So we're talking 27 years from now. And 216 million people, this is 225, 7.5 billion here, times, that's 3% of the population of the world, comes out to 225 million. Okay, so a little less than 3% of the population of the world is what they're talking about here in 27 years from now. Okay, and guess what? People forever have migrated to where water is. Water, lakes dry up. People, in the old times, they would go and they would, where was development started? They were started at the riverbanks. They were started at a lakeside. They were started where there is water, because it's a basic fundamental right. And when that water dried up, just like, in the Southwest, like a lot of those, Indian artifacts in Mesa Verde, those places dried up. People left because the water dried up. It's been happening forever. Okay, but they say there's going to be international tensions. There's already tensions. People are already fighting over water. But what we have to do is use water responsibly. But they say, this is why we can't dismiss water scarcity in the U.S. Which is true. I mean, we do have to get serious about water, and the first way to do it is stop wasting it. The water flowing from the faucet directly down the drain. I'm it drives me when I'm in people's homes, when I'm in a business that is going on, which is all the time, even in drought-stricken areas. I will watch that. And I just want to go over there and turn off the faucet. But I mean, you can, but the people do not even have enough respect for the water to do that. Okay. And that's our biggest water problem. But instead, we have the United Nations, who hasn't allowed the real solutions the world needs since November '93. Of course, with the World Economic Forum, they had a water conference. I mean, they've been having conferences for decades, and things keep getting worse because they continue to not allow solutions. And this Swedish Waterhouse was one of those websites that covered this conference a little bit here. It was historic. They're all historic. No, no, they're not. They're all failures. So these people put out the water action agenda, and if you click that, you go to this page here, a water action decade. This is an opportunity to raise awareness, define a roadmap, and advance a water agenda. We needed that a long time ago, and we just need to start living responsibly, which the UN won't allow. And if you click on the countries that are involved, you go to right here, and there's 43 countries involved, and there's 183 countries in the world. Okay. And then if you come down here a little bit, you click on their agenda right here. See all the initiatives. And so these are the initiatives, biodiversity. So there was an ocean conference in Lisbon in June of 2020. And why didn't that solve the problem? Because none of these are ever going to solve the problem. They keep bringing the same people to the same conferences. Oh, now we have a World Water Day. Oh, okay. Okay. People will just go abuse water more on that day. So, a World Toilet Day. Okay. And so, we definitely have, these are just some of their initiatives I'm scrolling through. We definitely have a an issue with water. The world has always had an issue with water, especially in poor countries. Okay, Americans are going to find out soon what it's like to not have water coming out of your taps. And, that's something Americans never thought that they would have. And people in Africa, right? I mean, we all know they walk miles and miles to get dirty water that they bring home. And water, we just take it for granted, but it is an absolute human essential. It is a human right. And we do need to keep it clean, which is why we should keep toxins out of it. So if we just lived responsibly and, oh my God, keep the toxins out of the water and the chemicals. And, but it's true that this is such a human necessity that the powers that are, Klaus Schwab and friends at Davos, and the global elite and the United Nations, they are going to control you with it, just like they're going to control you with food. Okay, just like they're going to control you with your banking. If they could figure out how to control the air you breathe, they would control you with that too. And the only way that we're going to not let this happen is to stand up to them, basically. And it would be very helpful if people like Alex Jones and James O'Keefe and Rebel News and Mike Adams and Tucker Carlson and Greg Greenwald and Alex Newman and all the other independent media out there, if they would do their job and actually provide good environmental information, but they won't. So right now, if these people get their way, American lives are going to be changing dramatically, and Americans are going to freak out. Okay? So stay tuned, people.